Yeah, we're good.
All right. Peace, beautiful people. That is DP. I'm Dev. We are in the C&D Lounge, and this is Real Talk with DP and Dev. Let's clap it up. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. I have the honor and privilege of being with probably two of the smartest people I know, in terms of the things that they're doing and the moving and the shaking that they're doing. And, you know, they want to give money to people. They want to give money to small businesses. They want to give money to Black people. So
Yeah, and it's hard to find Black people giving money to Black people.
Yeah.
So that's real big. You know what I'm saying?
This is a big deal. So we're gonna have a lot of information, a lot of spicy conversation, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But first, before we even get into introducing them, because we'll do that and then we'll get rocking and rolling. I just want to let you know that this show is brought to you by Independent Capital Group. For those who are out there wondering what Independent Capital Group is, if you are looking to invest in residential real estate, but you don't want to do all the heavy legwork of what an investor would do, Independent Capital Group is there to do that. There are trained professionals there to actually do. There are trained professionals there to do all of the investments from inception all the way to closeout. And on top of that, Independent Capital Group guarantees 20% return on your investment.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Because all we're doing is switching you guys out with the lenders that we currently use, that we're returning, giving them a return of at least 20%, 10% per year, maybe some of them 12% per year. So we're just switching you guys out and giving you guys that equity spread. You know what I'm saying? So you become the lender, and it's as little as $500. So you can't go around with that. You can invest $500, and it's not a one-time thing. You can do it over and over again. So if you don't have but $500 this month, $500 next month, and you can accumulate over a period of time, and it's 20% on every investment.
So if you want to know more, go to independentcapitalatl.com. Again, that is independentcapitalatl.com. Let's get with the show. All right, so I want to introduce the beautiful people, the Village Micro Fund.
Yes.
Dante Miller, what up?
What's good?
Harriet Williams,
Yep.
What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? All right, so listen, before we get started, I want to say, we got our happy hour, we got our drinks, right? So I want to have the guests do a toast to whatever y'all want to give a toast to. So it's on y'all.
One of y'all got to speak. I'll say.
Oh, okay.
Take this
Okay,
So the queen that's in the house, the toast is on you. What's up?
Okay. So we're gonna toast to abundance.
All right.
We're gonna toast to wealth and relationships, lifelong learning, collaborations, and going to where the money resides.
All right,
That's what we're gonna do.
All of that.
Where the money resides.
Peace.
Salute. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Village Micro Fund, right? So first and foremost, both of you came from very significant places of business. You was at Goldman Sachs, you was at KPMG,
Yep.
right? Two major players, in corporate America, obviously. But from what I understand, there wasn't any fulfillment there. Excuse me. And there was an innate drive to go ahead and give back to the community, specifically in finance. So can y'all talk about how y'all got started?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been telling this story a lot recently, actually, because so many Zoom meetings.
Okay, all right, cool.
But I guess I can give y'all kind of like the extended version, because I like to tell the story about my grandmother.
Let's do it. Come on. We chilling, we talking. And drinking.
Yeah, it's like, and drinking, yeah. So my grandma was one of those grandmas where she was everybody in the neighborhood's grandma.
Okay.
Right, she was one of those rare people who was the glue that held the community together.
Okay.
And sometimes it would feel like on the weekends, it would be like half the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, eating at our house.
You going to grandma's house?
Going to grandma's house.
Okay.
So it's just everybody used to always come up to her yo, why don't you have a restaurant? Right? It makes all the sense in the world. You make this amazing food. You can feed the entire block off of a dozen eggs. You know what I'm saying? She'd be the only sit-down restaurant within miles. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
But know what I know now. It's you got restaurant money.
Right.
My grandmother was a poor Black woman in a poor Black neighborhood. And not only that, she also only had a 3rd grade education. So she literally had to drop out and raise her brothers. And that's how she became this type of figure that like everybody in the neighborhood loves and everybody turns to.
And every hood has one.
Every hood has a few, you know? So like, I'm saying like, that's something that a lot of investors don't know. And it's like, we can bring to the table. But yeah, every hood has one. Like, I think every day that if like we would have invested in her, how her life would have been different, how the entire community would have been impacted. Okay. That, just one investment.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like the same reason that we love them is like the exact same reason why no investor would ever just say, we want to invest in her. Okay. Like this poor Black woman in this poor Black neighborhood with a 3rd grade education.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, growing up, like the only thing I really knew about money is like what you couldn't do with it.
Okay.
And family, like we just didn't have it. So we knew a lot about like what you couldn't do with it. So like I ended up making it to Morehouse. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in school, honestly.
Shout out to Morehouse.
Shout out to Morehouse.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment, man. You know, Morehouse is one of the most prestigious Black schools there is.
I did very well in my extracurriculars and I did very well in my test scores. Yeah. So I really
and your degrees in
accounting.
Accounting? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm at Morehouse. I really don't know anything about money. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And I just selected business route because I'm like, business touches everything.
Yeah.
And the first place I went to was a Federal Reserve Bank, which is like, that was where we learned about money. And the second place I went to was Goldman Sachs, which you kind of went to after that.
And these are places you worked at? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just like really what you learn at those 2 places specifically is how the world moves.
Say it again.
Yeah, I mean, if you can follow the money.
It's important for people to hear that.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
you know
that's a fact.
Yeah, like, I mean, people say the money makes the world go round, but like up there, you really see it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And keep in mind, you're talking about a private sector in Goldman Sachs, but you're also talking about the public sector on the government side with the Federal Reserve. So you're looking at it from both perspectives.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It's like Goldman Sachs is one of the largest contributors to both the Democratic and Republican Party. Either side wins, they win.
Yeah, you got to.
So it's like, it doesn't matter which party you're talking about if the guy, like Goldman Sachs is paying their bills.
Right.
You know, and that's what you realize is like the people that they pay are the people that run the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see all these different services that they provide for people who really don't need these services. It's like, what would this look like if we actually took it back home and took it to people who needed these services?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like the inception of
the So when you say people who don't need those services, you're talking about, so they helping rich folks get richer.
Yeah. It's like
basically
both institutions, like that's what they do. It's like, you know, baked into it. Make rich people richer.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things that you said that I do want to have you do a breakdown of real quick, and then Harriet, of course, you'll dive in as well. But one of the things that you talk about is understanding the theory and the application of finance.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, it's finance is shrouded behind like this language.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like the point is to make it seem like it's difficult to understand. So that you won't ask too many questions.
Right. They want to keep you dumb.
I mean, it's like, so for example, the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve produces money. They have control over how much money is in the economy at any given time.
Okay.
That's what inflation is.
Yep.
Inflation is just like, like take a balloon. It's like you blowing it up doesn't mean you have more balloon. It's just more air in it. And every year, the Federal Reserve is printing more and more money. So it's just like blowing more and more air into the balloon. So you see, like, basically your money is just losing value every year. And anybody that's rich already knows that. So what that ends up looking like in practice is if you're rich, you're going to take your money out of cash. You're going to put it in real estate. You're going to put it in bonds. You're going to put it in stocks. Whatever is making the best return, that's where you're going to put it. And then when you have everybody going for those same assets, price goes up. Right. So rich people buying rich people things, you know what I'm saying? And like getting richer. On the other side, you have the people that are most reliant on cash.
Mhm.
Us, we can't afford to like put our money into liquid assets. We can't like buy a house and then have to sell it to like pay a bill. Like that's you can't do that. You know, so on this other end, you have the people that are most reliant on cash, and their cash is less and less valuable every year.
Mhm.
Without any government intervention, like the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting
The poor
poorer
get
by the
poorer.
way that the money is designed. And it's crazy because, like, yo, the government doesn't actually even have any real federal oversight over the Federal Reserve. Like, they don't. The Federal Reserve can do whatever they want.
Mm.
You know, so once you really learn,
now with the Federal Reserve, there are many what you call it, these theories out there about how the Federal Reserve actually works. Because nobody actually
conspiracy.
yeah, conspiracy theories.
Okay. Mhm.
Nobody actually teaches you that in school. Well, I have never been taught that.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And it's like a mystery.
I feel like that's at least intentional. I mean, I do. I mean, I'm a big fan of cryptocurrency for that reason alone.
Bitcoin is doing very well.
Bitcoin's doing very well.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
Thanks,
Very
Dante.
well. Very well.
You're welcome.
So you got you some.
Yeah,
Enough
nah,
to be
I mean,
dangerous.
I've been in this lecture a lot of times, so she's heard me talk about it a lot
Yes.
of times. I mean, but yeah, it's like that's the Federal Reserve, and then it's like Wall Street is the whole point is stocks go up. Like as long as the Federal Reserve keeps printing money like they do, stocks are going to go up. You're going to get your 10% every year, and then it's a Wall Street's job to make as much money on that transaction as they can.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like everybody's incentivized to make this system work.
So how do Black folks fit in that system? Because we always seem to be
I mean, we're the labor.
and the last to get the information. You know.
Yeah.
Which is more the reason why you would be like, you know what, I got to give this to my people.
Exactly.
Which is how Village Microphone came into existence.
Right.
Take it from here.
Because I was gonna say, because when you started, it was you and you had two other good brothers that actually started it with you.
Mhm.
Harry, you came in not necessarily in the beginning, but you came in afterwards. So talk about that.
Okay, so I was sold a dream. I don't know how many people have been sold a dream.
Many
I was
times.
sold a whole dream.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, go ahead and talk about it.
I went to the University of Georgia.
Shout out to
my alma
UGA.
mater.
Oh, you went to UGA?
Yes.
You didn't go to HBCU?
No.
Okay.
UGA was the
That's
free.
No,
That's a-
from the conversation we had before
Oh, right.
we went
That's a-
live, I would assume she went to HBCU.
No, I was,
That's another
the free
conversation.
resources. The free resources. Free.
Okay.
I had no scholarship.
Right.
And so I went to UGA. I was groomed. I was telling you, my parents are older, so they groomed each of us to be like part of their lives.
Right.
One of us is a teacher, one of us is an engineer, and I was supposed to come in as a business person. And so I had this whole like wall of how I was going to be a CEO or a partner of a major Fortune 500
Definitely.
company. Like this is how I came in. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take
Right.
over the corporate world. Right?
You was on a particular
Yes.
track.
Yeah, I was ready. So, you
Right.
know, I started at KPMG, got my job a year before I graduated college. So I was Gucci. Like senior year, I was living my best life. Like I was out there with the job. Like, yeah, I'm good.
Right.
And so, you know, graduated, did KPMG. I hated it. I lived for the weekends. I was miserable. I was working with white people who didn't care about me, who I didn't really care about, and who had no friends. And I had a life outside of it, and I felt like I was being punished for it. But not only that, it's just like I realized that at that moment, the glass ceiling and everything that, you know, part of us had heard about was real.
Right.
And it was like only so many of us were supposed to make it to the top.
Right.
And I was like, obviously, I have a little too much razzle dazzle, and they're not ready for me to be on the top.
You have
Okay?
too much
They're
blackness
like,
in you. Yeah.
let her loose. It might be a little situation, right?
Keep going. Please keep going.
But
keep going.
you know, so they laid the kid off. They laid the kid off deeply. I was living my life. I was a senior associate. I was like, okay, I'm making this money. I had just bought my house in the West End, Westview area.
Right.
Yeah, got a nice little Audi, you know. I was like, well, if I'm gonna be miserable at work, I'm gonna stuck when I go home.
Because it is a nice Audi.
Yeah, really.
It is a nice.
And so, you know, I got laid off, and I was like, oh dang, I got this new house, new car, and no jobs.
Gotta pay for it now.
So just so I'm clear, so that happened after you kind of did the glow up in terms of the material things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like literally 3 months later.
Wow.
Yeah. They were like, oh, okay.
But I mean, one wise thing you did, out of many, I'm sure, is that you bought a house in the West End, and the West End has appreciated probably
300%. You got it for sure, meaning that it was lower than.
It was a great investment. But it was a lot to my ego. Okay, because you know I'm groomed to do this. I got the job early, living this life, doing things. I was living in Buckhead before I moved to the West.
Oh, you live in Buckhead?
Yeah, I'm there shining on the kids, right? And I was just like, my ego kind of got hit because I was like, oh, they let go the kids. The kids got let go.
Right.
Oh, you funny.
And all my hard work.
So
they got me messed up.
So after that.
Right.
Come on.
So after that, I ended up, I didn't know what to do. And I had gone to some community meetings and I ended up meeting some local entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And what's crazy is before I got laid off, I said something to myself, I want to do something that makes a difference.
Got it.
I didn't really know what that was, right?
Yeah.
So then fast forward, I ended up working with a local entrepreneur, which was Marty's, which is actually a shared kitchen in Asheview Heights.
Shout out to Keisha and the whole Marty's.
Yes, Marty's. And
what's that?
Marty's. So it's for home cooks because, on the West Side, people are being displaced. Businesses are being displaced. Mm-hmm. So it's a place where, the man that sells the sweet potato pies in the barbershop or sells the cookies or cakes, they can come to this kitchen and they can literally make their goods.
Oh, it's like a commercial kitchen.
Yes, but there's not really a lot of those in Atlanta proper. You have Prep, who's, well, we won't even talk about them, but regardless. And so I was working with them, and that's how I actually met Dante.
Right.
And I actually had a consulting business, and I took my consulting business through the village. And then Dante and Nate fell so deeply in love with me as I feel like that they were like,
how could they not, right?
How could they not, Devin? They fell so deeply in love with me. They're like, come on a team. And so then I became like a non-traditional co-founder. But yeah, so it's me, Nate, and Dante, the three amigos. Yeah, I pretty much put my business into the village with consulting. But to kind of segue into what the village does, because I'm sure everybody is wondering.
Yeah, go ahead and dive in.
We are a social impact fund. We sit on the west side of Atlanta, and we help small Black businesses grow and scale. And we do this through education, cooperative development, and cooperative investing. So you're asking education, what are all this? So education, we do a 15-week course. We will usually host it out of Morehouse. I'm sorry, I'm gonna carry you.
No, please do your thing, please.
We usually host it out of Morehouse College. Morehouse.
You say it's a 15-week.
Yes,
yeah.
15 weeks.
Yeah, so let's
break the 15-week down.
Let's slow that down.
What do they get when they come in? Right. So what do they need to have to even qualify to participate in the program?
They have to have an active business.
Yes. Hold on, even before that, when you do those sessions, they are called something specific. Is it called a cohort or is it called?
Yes, it's called a cohort.
Okay, so let's talk about, because some people may not know.
Okay.
Obviously, I know, but what is a cohort? How does that work, and how you go ahead and break it down.
So it's a small business boot camp incubator.
So you, along you got an active business, is there any types of business that's excluded from?
No.
So how it works, and we have a lot of partnerships. So one is with Ascend Atlanta, and that's actually funded by JP Morgan and Chase. Mm-hmm. So we do have a cohort coming up soon with them in Morehouse. And so it will be happening. Applications are active now, and we can provide the link to DP and Dev. Mm-hmm. But that cohort will go.
You can also find it on our Instagram.
Yes, on our Instagram, Village Money Fund.
Is it a fee for it, or what's the cost?
No, it is a free course.
Oh, really?
We're trying to get businesses to market access. We're trying to get businesses to clean up all the things. Because here's one thing we've realized: we've worked with businesses that make no income to over $1.5 million. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, what the issue is that all of these businesses have similar issues. Our entrepreneurs are amazing at what they do. Like, you might be able to bake a cake like amazingly, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't know the business part, and it's oftentimes because we haven't had the luxury of having the education.
Right.
When our counterparts who don't look like us, they're often exposed to entrepreneurship through their grandparents or their
From young.
parents.
Yes.
Yes, and they're able to see these things and soak this up. We don't oftentimes.
I want to
get
come
that.
take the class, man.
Well, when you talk about the class, right? I mean, obviously, physically you got to go to Morehouse. That's where it's located. But how long is the class? And talk about some of the things that you learn when you're in the class.
So we take businesses through design thinking, the business model canvas.
Okay.
And business model canvas is pretty much a lean business plan.
As
It's
in
gonna
like
take you-
Six Sigma Lean or?
Just more of like
It's a one-pager.
a
Okay.
visual.
All right, cool. Okay.
To kind of break it down, because business plans can be kind of intimidating.
Yes,
it is.
The idea behind the business model canvas is like, on one side you have what the customer sees, and on the other side you have what you see as a business owner, and on the bottom you have the numbers.
Okay.
So on the right side, it's like you should be able to see your customer wake up, see them as they go throughout their day, see when they run into your product, what they find valuable about your product, and then how they actually buy it. And on the other side, it's like, well, this is what I need, this is who I need, and this is how much this costs.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just like you can teach it in a day, and you can teach it as like a college course. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get very deep into it because all the different aspects on the business are like on that page, and you'll see if you have something missing.
Okay.
Because it's literally like it'll be a space that's empty on the page.
Okay. So you decided to make it 15
Yes.
weeks.
It's
Why
actually-
is that?
It's a lot of information.
It's a lot of
Honestly,
information.
we actually are working to license our curriculum because we want to grow bigger than just Atlanta, right?
Right.
And so it's a lot of information, and we're learning that it's a lot that people don't know. And so it takes time, and you have to sit with it, right?
Yeah.
To really know who
Yeah.
your customer is and know, okay, well, I know my customer is someone who's over the age of 40. So therefore they're going to be on Facebook. So I should maybe do more Facebook ads instead of Instagram ads because
Right.
my target market is on Facebook, right?
Right.
And I know that these are the habits that they would do because this is why they buy my product. You
Definitely.
don't oftentimes have the space, and that's what we try to create, because what's crazy is we have businesses that start from nothing, and then businesses like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Just Add Honey, one of my favorite tea rooms here in Atlanta. But
Never
they're
heard of that.
vets, right?
Mhm.
And so they were saying, like, even coming in, they were like, we didn't know what to expect. They were like, it was so beautiful to be vulnerable and have a safe space.
What's the name of the spot again?
Just Add Honey.
Shout out to Just That Honey.
Yes.
All right.
Be vulnerable and have a space, because oftentimes in entrepreneurship, like as an entrepreneur, it can be lonely, right?
Mhm.
A lot of times your friends are in corporate America. They don't understand the grind. They don't understand everything that's happening.
Yeah, right.
And as
Absolutely.
a village, we seek to make it an experience, make it a family, make you feel supported, not only like through your business, but also mentally. We have a financial therapy class.
Mhm.
We also we do market access. We have new partnerships.
Hold on,
with
you
Target.
said financial therapy.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that is with our partner, Sybil Slade and Dr. Tori.
Mhm.
So oftentimes the financial habits that we have as children translate not only into our adulthood, but also into our business.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And so really like working on like, why do I handle money like this? Or like some people are
It's
super
like,
savers.
why do I get anxiety with a big purse?
Yes,
And I
like
know those big
That's
purchases are
deep.
massive.
That's deep.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
that's-
gonna show up as a full person to your business. It's like if you're really doing your business full time, then your personal health is gonna show up in your business. So it's important to like really get that sorted out.
Do you have an application in your bag over there? I need to apply.
So I want to be clear on something. Like from what I said when we first started, like when I said these are probably two of the smartest people I've ever met, I'm dead ass serious. These are probably two of the
Yeah.
smartest people I've ever met in the
You-
things
you-
that they're doing.
You've been keeping these guys a secret.
I have not. Again,
Maybe we are here.
I have not kept them a secret. That's not true. But anyway, keep going. Please. So, all right. So you got the 15-week.
Mhm.
You're doing everything as far as the classes and the curriculum. That's great. Talk about the money aspect.
Well, before you get to that,
Okay.
what's different about them as a business person when they graduate from that 15 weeks?
Okay. Yeah.
You have a family.
Yeah.
Like people like to say we
A
graduate
network.
frat lines.
A network.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not just a network though, because it's a difference when like you know someone. It's like, oh yeah, we're colleagues, but like you don't feel just comfortable texting them and
Okay.
being like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
You know.
They create group chats without us, sometimes with us. Like it literally becomes to the point where all of our businesses are working together on like, oh, you have this, how can we collab? how can I add value to your business so you can add value to mine? And that's really what this all is about. I'm the biggest collab person. Like, as Black people, to change the systematic things that have happened to us, we can't do this alone. We have to do this as a community, right? And the more people that we can find that are like-minded, who are like, okay, my business does this, how can that help your business? And your business does this, is how we're gonna win. That's what they don't want us to do. They, you know who I'm talking about. They don't want us to win.
So you're talking right up deep. Don't get them started, please.
A lot of people, like, the biggest problem with Atlanta is the fact that we have so many silos. Yeah, it's like you'll have people doing so many dope things in the city and they don't know each other. Right. So like, it's important to make those connections, and the cohort is just one place where we're able to do that.
Dope. So now, is it easy for those people to develop those group texts and those groups because they're all, you know, it's like a family while they're going through that process, so they see the mistakes that somebody else made that's helping them.
I mean, and we're intentional about that, because it's like every class we start out with, like, you know, we start off with an elevator pitch just because you have to commit it to memory. But after the elevator pitch, it's like, tell us what happened since the last time we talked. Like, everybody has to share. Yeah. You know, and that is like, in the beginning, everybody starts off shy. Oh, I'm okay, I guess. Like, whatever. But like, by the midway point, you have people telling like, oh, I encountered, I'm saying, like, I encountered this in business today. I am pissed off. Like, you know, people really bearing their soul in there.
And so then kind of going to what you were saying, Dev, about like the money part. So once you go through our course, we also do a graduation where you're giving, so you get headshots, you get also the ability to do your 30-second pitch, which is kind of what I did just now for the village, but also a 5-minute pitch with a pitch deck. So you're really getting well versed to be able to go get the money without it.
Like, because the truth is, that's really all you have. If 5 minutes, you may just have 2.
Right. Yeah. And so from that, when you graduate our course, you have now access to our cooperative investing. Right. And so what that is our platform, which is being developed in partnership with Microsoft as one of our partners.
That's what's up, Microsoft.
But, yeah, you know, I'm not even working, DP.
No, they got a lot of serious partnerships.
So how that looks is on our platform, there's 3 aspects to it. So you have the crowdfunding aspect, which is how the village started. Dante didn't go in deep into it, but my client Marty, she was at one time Westview Pizza. And she went through the village platform.
She was literally the first loan we ever raised.
I read that in your bio. That was amazing. You know.
And so from that, like, seeing what that can do, imagine how we can fund even more businesses. So the Redefine platform offers that, and we have a new partnership with LISC and Kiva. And so right now, we are in the.
You're using those acronyms, and nobody knows what.
Hold on, run it back, Turbo. Slow it down. So listen, Kiva, people may not know who those are.
LISC is a community development financial institution, and they loan out and grant out a lot of money to different Black. I'm saying
you good.
With different businesses, like, for instance, LISC. When COVID was happening, had a partnership with Lowe's. Just made sure.
I did see lists on the Lowe's grant application.
They had one, like, they had multiple rounds of that.
I didn't get any from Lowe's, but that's cool. Maybe I should have came to y'all.
Maybe.
What's up.
So now, if somebody wants to get those grants, can they come to you guys and you guys can help them through the process?
So right now we do have grant money in City of South Fulton. Okay. So if you are a business in City of South Fulton, have been there for about 2 years, have a business license, please have a business license and have 2 years. That's real important, guys. Business license, not Secretary of State.
The most important thing is a business license.
Business license.
Specifically for the City of South Fulton.
Let me also interject on that. Make sure your business license is current.
Yes.
So that's important as well.
Absolutely.
For people in the City of South Fulton.
No, but some businesses don't need a business license because they're not.
But in this case, for a grant, I mean,
you
like,
should always have a business license.
They'll only enforce it if you're in a building. If you're in an actual building, they will come and enforce it and make sure you have a business license. But it is helpful to have a business license with the city, just because if the city ever does stuff, you're going to need a business license. And in the case of Corona, the city does a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So it's very important to be above board.
Above
if
board,
you don't have a
yes.
business license, go get a business license.
Please.
So
Mhm.
Yeah,
when it comes around again, you're in the
Yeah.
mix of being able to.
But you know, that's the thing.
Have
Just,
access.
just have it.
Yeah.
Because in some instances you may not need it, but
exactly.
it's better to have it
and not
and
need
not
it.
use it than to need it and not have it.
Exactly.
Preach,
Like,
my brother.
A lot of people are telling us like, because people want to give money to Black businesses because people know the fact that like PPP funding only went to like businesses with a lot of employees. 96% of Black businesses in Atlanta have 0 to 1 employees.
Yeah.
Which means that they're either doing it by themselves or can't even afford to pay themselves to do it full time.
Yeah.
So when you talk about how many businesses slipped between the cracks when it came to PPP funding, a lot of people came to the city like, okay, how do we get money to those businesses that didn't receive that funding? But we don't know those businesses. So oftentimes it's organizations that are on the ground like us that are just the recipients of that money, and we can like get it to the people that actually need it.
So they actually send you guys the money and you guys distribute it based on their criteria?
We've given out like over $1.2 million this year.
Go ahead, say that again.
We've given out over $1.2 million this year.
Let's not go there. Let's take a drink to that. All right.
Drink.
Yo,
That's serious business.
So why haven't I met these folks before?
Yeah, I told you, man. I've been trying to put you onto them for a good minute now.
You're not trying hard enough, my brother.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me wrap up the cooperative investing piece. And
Go
then
ahead,
we can
please.
Finish out what the village is.
Yeah.
So businesses can come on the platform. They can, with the partnership with Kiva, I didn't mention Kiva. Kiva gives 0% loans internationally to a lot of businesses. So there's a match. So it's up to 15K because it is a micro loan, but LISC will match half of it. So if you can crowdfund 7,500 and you need 1,500, they'll match the other 7,500.
What's Kiva?
Kiva is the program that
They're like
they're an international.
they're a crowdfunding company.
Yes.
So it's KIVA. They really do a lot of international work, and it's like, you know, somebody needs a loan for like $1,000 for a basket weaving company in, you know, South Africa. They'll essentially provide the loan, and people can crowdfund that way. But it's a 0% loan, and they do a lot. They move a lot.
Right. But the difference between us and Kiva is that we're a wealth building machine. And so this is how this works. So you as an investor, maybe you have $25, $100, you give it to us to invest in the business.
I got $200.
Okay, you got $200. You got $200.
It's a real scenario.
You give it to us to invest in a Black business that you see on our platform. We then that goes to that business. They get their money. In 3 to 5 years, you get 5 to 6% back on your return. So it's
not even
like
necessarily 3 to 5 years because there's different time frames.
Right, but like in a scenario.
Yes, and you're saying that in the event that it could come earlier.
Right.
Yeah, so like we really have 2 different types of ways raising debt, right? Like one is a loan that's like more than 1 year.
Right.
And in that case, it's like for Keitra, for example, we got her $6,000. It was a 7% loan. As she paid the loan back, the investors got 5% back.
Is it credit based?
No.
Character based.
So you mean to tell me y'all giving Black folks money and y'all not even checking the credit?
No. If they go through our program,
Yeah,
we
that's
actually
what's up.
have, like we try to get a loan loss reserve.
That's the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like all
Please
these
don't, y'all not gonna hit it. He's hollering at you like immediately.
Got a question right quick before you said.
Mhm.
Does a business license have to be the full 2 years of operation in Southfolk?
No, because a lot of
It just got to be current
Yes,
as of
come on.
now.
Please
Current
come
as of
through.
now.
Okay.
You can see the application Village Microfund on Instagram. Go ahead and click
Can I?
that through.
I'm
Friday.
gonna put this out there for those who are listening and are interested in that. It is legit, and I know this for a fact because I was able to receive some funding. So, listen, if you live in the city of South Fulton and you got all your ducks in a row, because that is important. Because I do want to mention this, and this is something we need to talk about also. Businesses, specifically Black businesses, you may be the best person at what you do, but you're not the best person when it comes to the administrative and the paperwork part.
Exactly.
And that's why a lot of people fail at. So I say that to say, for those who are in the city of South Fulton that are interested in this grant, If you have all your stuff together, your business license, your tax returns, if you are a minority-owned business and you have your classifications, all of those different things, submit those, and I guarantee that you will get the bread.
Yes,
All right?
guaranteed.
Right?
Let me say it again.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Because we sitting there talking to the decision makers who
That's what I'm saying. Like,
cut the check. They cut the check.
But it's important though that you have to really make sure that you got your paperwork together, because a lot of our people, they do what they do, but they ain't got their admin right.
Man, 2020 was a case study in why you should have that together. Because it's like any other year, it wouldn't have mattered. You could have not had a business license. Fine. Yeah. This year, the 1 year, oh my God, like so many people got caught up and they just were not prepared. It was like when the first round of money came out, no one had their financial statements ready.
Right. Or even the PPP, like having yourself as an employee so you can collect that money. Like,
exactly.
That is critical. Very critical.
I didn't get any PPP. I don't think.
Hey, if you got employees,
I mean, they're coming out again
because
this is the
we don't.
Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I got an email from Cabbage actually saying that it actually might be out now for those who are listening.
So go ahead and put yourself on payroll
because they wanted so much information. I'm like, again,
but that's the intimidator.
Do you want the
exactly.
money?
The intimidator is the information.
Can you guys facilitate that process?
We do not. But
we don't have PPP loans, but like we do have access to a lot of other money.
ACE, which is
access to capital for entrepreneurs.
They are starting their PPP loan process. And they're also a really good resource if you need a business loan as a small business.
What time y'all open tomorrow? What time?
We open up every day.
Hold on now. You say 11 o'clock.
This is not corporate. It's not a 9 a.m. 9 to 5.
It's a beautiful thing to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
So check this out. I do want to ask a couple of questions. Y'all young, the way y'all look, y'all dealing with money, and we're not talking about piddly money. We're talking about millions of dollars. When y'all first got started, what was some of the roadblocks and things that y'all had to kind of overcome to be like, yo, am I really gonna rock with you, or am I not? You understand?
We still young.
Being young. Yes.
Being young is
everybody tries to little bro us.
They try to son us.
We little bro. It's like we not little bro no more. We big homie.
I got this. I can help you.
Yeah, no, because like
you need to know me.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like when we first got, you know what I'm saying, we first came back from Goldman. I remember everybody was like, we said we want to start a micro fund, and everybody wanted to help. And they were like, oh, that's so cute. Like basically that's so cute. Like that was kind of the reaction we got. Everybody was very supportive, but they're not gonna push the button.
Yeah.
And it took years of just
working it.
Pressure.
Just proving that we could do something
and clawing to the top.
Now we have a body of businesses that we can say like exactly.
What would you tell the people who are out there? They may not want to necessarily start a fund, and I'm gonna ask you about that too. But they may not want to necessarily start a fund, but they may be young and they may want to really start moving and shaking. But they may get some pushback because of how they look. What do you tell those people?
Do it. Be authentically you. And that's something that I've had to learn because what y'all see now is not corporate hearing. And I'm literally be coming into
she's become a star.
Show, which is my good, right? And so it's just being authentic. There were rooms that we were in with funders and I had purple hair. And literally they were drawn towards me because I was just authentically being myself.
Yeah. And but on top of that, let's not bury the fact that you know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Right.
We had to it's gotten to the point where we don't have to introduce ourselves in rooms anymore. Yeah. And it's a lot easier when you have that level of trust.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though, because we're in Atlanta. Atlanta's like a cocoon for Black folks. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go.
You get outside. Well, for the most part, you got a lot of Black folks doing a lot of stuff, like you said, silos.
Yeah.
But a lot of Black folks doing a lot of stuff in the city of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? But when you get outside of Metro Atlanta, it's the old South.
If you take Atlanta out of Georgia, you got Alabama.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I'm saying. So how do and you know, you guys can only be so many places at one time, you know, until you guys become this behemoth like Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Monster taking
Yeah.
over the world.
And then you guys are in every major city in the country and then international.
I'm saying I'm
But
all about manifesting.
If somebody's like in Augusta, I mean, you can go there because that's where you're from, but yeah, that's a Macon or, you know what I'm saying, some other city. Valdosta, or even like you go up top is like Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Charlotte, Greenville, Greensboro, North Carolina, or some of those other places that you guys are not there. They don't have you don't have a downtown area. What would drive them to be like, I can do this too? Because, you know,
I'm glad you asked. No, we're planning on expanding our cohort to the point where like we're moving from training businesses to training trainers.
Okay. So
getting to the point where like we've spent time in Baltimore. We know that there are like Black businesses up there that want this. You know, I'm saying it's like there's still a lot of Black people up there who actually want to do business. So we know that if we can take someone who's passionate from there, you know, about teaching, who's an entrepreneur, then we can teach them the curriculum. You know, like
true.
And that's how you build a network.
Think about where Black people give the most money. And that's church, right? So like the thought with when we're talking about licensing this curriculum is infiltrating churches, infiltrating organizations like the Greater Urban League, right? And really providing a written curriculum that is for us. Like in our curriculum, we talk about storytelling, right? We use actual Black businesses to get through points of like who your customer is and everything. Like we want to be on the pulse of our people and like relatable for our people, like and understandable. We want to break it down where people can be like, okay, this is what entrepreneurship is. I understand what my customer is. I understand why this is important. So really like going into the Black church and hitting all these places so we can make Black entrepreneurship something that is commonplace and it's accessible for not only people in Atlanta, but people nationally that look like us.
So like imagine what it would look like if you could, out of every fourth Sunday, part of that offering goes to funding an entrepreneur's business. Like, what does that look like for Black people?
That mean the Rev can get a Porsche. You know what I'm saying? That mean the Rev. He can't pay for 6,000 square foot house. You know what I'm saying? His kids can't be in a $5,000, $10,000 a month private school. You know what I'm saying? So who's gonna tell Rev that your kid got to come under that?
Hey, community got to hold Rev accountable, but that comes with education.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, I have thoughts on the Black church and their responsibility to the community.
I do too, honestly. No, I understand. You know what I'm saying? But you have to acknowledge the fact that they're a staple in our community.
They are.
That's where the most money
and they're everywhere.
They're staple. You know what I'm saying? Like that is our religious center, and we are very spiritual people.
I like how you put that.
Yeah.
Don't get us fired.
Right. But if you're raising money for your friends, like you were raising money for Dev, like that's going to be a little more personal. You might give a little bit more because it's Dev, right? And so in churches, what we do have is a close-knit community where it's just like, oh, well, Deacon such and such, of course I'm going to help support his business. That's our deacon. And that's what we're trying to curate here.
What I will say, because I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna front. When I did say the churches, if I'm being totally honest, part of you was like, but I understand why, because that is the epicenter for a community.
Exactly.
But I do think that, and I know y'all are gonna do this. I do think that church is just one aspect of how you get the word out.
Of course.
And as opposed
it's
to
just it's the fact that like, if you look back to like the civil rights movement, why it did gain as much attraction as they did without the internet was because of the churches. Right. And it was like, regardless of what purpose they serve today, like that's I like the way you emphasize that's the purpose that they serve then. And it's like, it's not possible for them to get back to those roots.
Yeah. So no, that's real. I mean, I get that.
And really quick, we're gonna have to infiltrate in multiple ways. So it's religious, it's not religious.
And on top of that, we're gonna let Dev get his online, be ordained online. So so we're gonna start the C&D chapel.
Oh, you gonna start the church?
I didn't say that, but
I have a lot of homies from Morehouse. A lot of guys on the church.
I'm sure. Let me ask you this. Something you said, Dante, was very poignant in my opinion when you talked about you have a lot of different businesses that are kind of working in silos, but also either have one employee or no employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of activity going on with entrepreneurs. Twofold question: why is it that more people don't necessarily know about the fun that you do, or maybe a counterpart within the Atlanta does? And what is your take on the saying that Atlanta is Wakanda?
You let me take
So twofold.
I got you. I mean, I'm gonna give my opinion on both. You can give your opinion on both. Because I have a lot to say on both. Why don't more people know about us? Because Atlanta is a city of they really value appearance.
Okay.
One of my main critiques of Morehouse is that I said this while I was at Morehouse. I love my institution to death. I would not be doing the Village had it not been for Morehouse.
Shout out to Morehouse.
Shout out to Morehouse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the best decisions I made out of my life.
Okay.
That being said,
let's get it. Let's get it. Come on.
You gassed it up. You gassed it up.
Let's go.
Like, I believe that one, a lot of good things that happen at Morehouse happen in spite of the administration.
Okay.
And speak, brother. Speak.
Listen, nobody is exempt. Let's be clear. Nobody is exempt. All right. So please, do your thing.
I mean,
it's your world.
We got to teach the people.
We
got to teach the people. You know what I'm saying?
So the roadblocks. I believe that like one of my main critiques of Morehouse was that I felt like we raised a bunch of men that were empty suits.
Okay.
And I feel like,
of course, you got to explain that. What do you mean?
Empty suits in the sense that like you have the appearance down.
Okay.
Like,
but you're not really bringing.
You look like it.
But you ain't really about that.
But you're not about it.
Okay.
The people that have the most time to talk about it are not the people doing the work a lot of times. Right. And I see that's a microcosm for Atlanta. Because like when we go into the city, the people like a lot of the people that tend to get the most attention are not the people doing the work. They're the people that have the time to talk about the work.
Or have the appearance.
Yeah, have the appearance of being involved with the work. You know, you don't have to be deeply involved. You just have to take a few photo ops and you're associated with the work now.
So they're taking a political route. You know
I mean, it's like, it's right now, like,
it's like social media.
Being woke is currency. It's like a social capital. You know,
it's like looking strong but not really being strong.
Yeah, you know. So
it's like most people on Facebook and Instagram. They look like they have this fabulous life, but they really don't. You know,
they live in squalor.
Yeah, and that's a lot of Atlanta. So it's like a lot of what you hear about going on is very different from actually going on. It's like when you talk about Wakanda, Wakanda is like Black people own that. Black people don't own Atlanta.
Listen, you can just add on top of that. It's okay.
I mean, no, but like just honestly, like
because people, obviously, this has been a saying, of course, like Atlanta is like that, and the question is,
Atlanta is home of the cash poor millionaire as far as Black people.
Atlanta is the largest wealth gap in the nation, has the largest wealth gap in the nation. So how can you be Wakanda if you have the largest wealth gap in the nation?
If you are born poor in Atlanta, you have a 96% chance of dying poor in Atlanta.
Let's also talk about
because there's a lot of information.
But the wealth gap is between the whites and the Blacks. What you're referring to?
Yes, that is what I'm referring to. Okay. So 70% of Black families in Atlanta are liquid cash poor, in comparison to 22% of white families.
What classifies you as cash poor?
That means that if an emergency happened to 4K,
You don't got it.
Yeah,
you don't have it.
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That she will now go into debt.
You know, it's like perfect example of this is, let's say, and we're not talking about a lot of bread. We talking about, let's say your furnace goes out in your house.
Yeah, that's
not typically. You
but $2,500, $3,000.
You're talking about $2,500,
$300.
$300. Right. So $2,500, $300 for a furnace. You probably gonna have that cash liquid. You probably gonna take out a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean it's detrimental to the family. And so we talk about Wakanda, and DP, we feel the same way about this.
Yeah.
How can it be Wakanda if we have the largest wealth gap in the whole nation? And not only that, we don't own this city. It looks like we own this city. That's why I be telling people, stay where you are. Don't come here. Like what I will say, and I will say this. Atlanta, you do have a lot of opportunities as a Black person. So let me put that there. I'm not because
I do want to speak on that.
Right, and I'm not saying that that's not possible. But when we actually talk about who's making money, who is actually able to sustain themselves, like that's not this. When I picture Wakanda, I picture us owning it. Us, everything is us. When we see the image of it, it's us. And we're thriving. We are thriving. We are making money. We are comfortable.
Let me ask you this question then. Did our Black politicians and leaders sell us out?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Speak on it.
100%.
Because we have, and we've had for a long period of time in Atlanta, Black mayors.
I've tried to explain this to people because, people always want to come to Atlanta because our big bad is a Black Democrat. That's the difference between Atlanta and every major city, is that in every major city you have some mean white man that is easy to fight against. In Atlanta, you literally have
it's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day for you.
It's gonna be a hard decision.
It's gonna be a long day. Yeah.
Unless you're going for governor, you know what I'm saying? But the white folks told you that, even though Stacey Abrams may have been a better choice in some people's eyes, white folks wasn't going for that.
I mean, we did turn the state blue.
Yes, we did. Shout out
to we got the white boy who was part of the blue.
Hey, it's a step. Because when is the last time that Georgia's been blue?
It's all your skin folks ain't your kin folks.
All your skin folks and not your kin folks. And that's one thing that you'll learn very quickly in Atlanta. Yeah. Is it the rich people here? It's this is when you realize it's more of a class dynamic. It's rich people don't fuck with poor people anywhere.
Yeah. They don't.
In this city, it's rich Black versus poor Black.
And that's why I want to go back to speaking on again the administrative part of it, of your business. It's important because everybody actually has the opportunity to really thrive here in Atlanta if you do it right.
Well, I wouldn't say everybody.
Let me say that. I'm sorry. At least get the foundation down. Yeah, at least get the foundation down.
Yeah, I mean, you have the opportunity, but the likelihood may not be as great because there's a lot of Black businesses going for the same Black clients. What I realize is that Black businesses don't go for white clients for some reason, because we assume that white folks are going to only deal with them. But if you do a decent service,
I think this is a healthy debate. For that.
It is, but just to give you also some landscape of business in Atlanta. So here's a statistic. And I'm gonna read it off just to make sure I have it right.
Okay, please.
But when we talk about businesses and what they're valued at, right? And we talk about, and this is why we're unapologetically Black. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we talk about that, well, no, I'm bringing this up to then go segment statistic. Okay. So when we talk about businesses and what they're valued at, your average white business is valued at $600K, around $600K. Right. Your average Asian business is at $700K. Your average Latino business is about $475K. What do you think the average Black business is valued at?
$250K.
58K.
58K.
Yeah.
And this is why I talk about, this is why we're not Wakanda. Because in the Wakanda that I imagine, we should be on top. We should be all the way on top. Let's talk about owning stuff. Let's talk about owning the city. I know we had the verses between Gucci and Jeezy. Jeezy was over there talking about he owned the city. Where Jeezy? Let's really talk about it.
What part of the city you own?
Exactly. and that's what upsets me. It's just like we don't own this place. And if in Wakanda, when I was watching Black Panther, I don't know if you were watching the same thing. I was watching Black Panther, but they owned it, right? It was their own utopia, and they were hiding it from the world. Yeah, that's not what we're doing here in Atlanta. But, it is. But the difference between
Wakanda and any place in America is that they came from there.
Yeah,
we didn't come from here. You know, we happen to be here right now. You know what I'm saying?
But the beautifulness of being Black and being unapologetically Black is we make something shake out of nothing. We don't have to have resources to shake. We don't have to have resources for people to be biting off of us. And that's the beauty of freaking being Black. And we can make a way out of no way.
Let me ask this question then. One of the guests got on the.
Okay, hold on. Just hold it. What you was gonna say?
No, I was just about to get into the fact that like America's #1 export is culture. It's movies. It's music. We run music. The biggest movie stars are Black. We are culture. What's cool becomes pop culture, and what's pop culture permeates the entire world. We have the ability. We just don't have the vehicles.
That's real.
That's deep.
What's the question?
Is the wealth gap for Black people systematic across this country?
Definitely.
Yes, it's across the world. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, like people that are darker get treated bad. Like, what really, like the South Indians, they're darker than the North Indians, and they get discriminated against too. It's just like cross cultures. It's like that one shirt that Andre 3000 wore. It's like, why do Black people get treated worse against every culture?
Right.
Like,
and it's here in Atlanta. It just is seemingly less, and that's what it is. But it's not any different.
I mean, but it's just like when we got a Black president, you can't really say it anymore because you have a Black president. No. But it's like it's still fucked up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, because, you know,
I just want y'all to know this is all up and down. Y'all are making this night. I just want y'all to get
because we had a Black president, right? But I thought our Black president should have done a lot more for specifically Black people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I believe our Black president was the only reason that Joe Biden got elected.
Yeah. And I get that. But let's also talk about the system and what he had to face. I mean, But
you can't. It might get a little messy. I don't want to get too messy out here.
Yeah, good. Get messy.
We have a child as the president right now.
But I'll let y'all know.
Right.
And white is a privilege. Being white is a privilege. Obama couldn't have done half the stuff. Like, imagine.
Hold on. Obama could have done it. He chose not to.
All right, family. Look, we are not going to get deep in
politics. But why not? Yeah.
We are not.
But we say that, but it still would have had to be passed by Congress. It would have had to be passed by the House.
This white boy doing executive actions. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, we want to have another Black president, right? I mean, unfortunately,
we would not have another Black president probably in my lifetime.
No, I think that we might. Biden might croak, and we might have Kamala. But that's another.
Okay, well,
Kamala is half Black.
Let me ask y'all this.
She got a white boy at the house. She got a white boy at the house. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask y'all a question to get back to what it is y'all promoting.
Okay.
And what you're doing, right?
Yes, back to the village.
Back to the village.
It's the truth.
What do you have to say for those people who are like, damn, I'm hearing this and there's a lot of good information. Let's talk about the village again. You know, give people who are listening a reason why they should be rocking with you right now within the city of Atlanta.
I mean, because like most people that have the money don't care. And most people that care don't have the money. We care and have the money.
Right. It's like, we want to help. Like, there are a lot of organizations that say they want to help, but we actually care about entrepreneurship and our people, right? And the difference between us is like when our entrepreneurs who come through our cohort win, we win, right? So it's just like, it's abundance. We live in an abundance lifestyle where it's like me helping you is not subtracting from me. Me collaborating with you is not subtracting.
That's something that's very powerful.
More money than we had this year as a salary.
In that Black folks, I think, sometimes we don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because we're not in competition with each other all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because if you finance something I'm doing, you're still going to get paid your fee for the financing. So, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't affect me or her if we both do good business.
Y'all both winning.
Right. And that's the thing. The village wants everybody to eat. Everybody that we interact with, that we influence, that goes to our cohort, we want them to eat because then we eat. And that helps more Black businesses to have access to the resources that they might have not had.
Right.
Because when we have amazing success stories, when Just Add Honey is over here opening franchises, that's a reflection
What
of
is
us.
that?
Our success is tied to y'all success.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
so
we
that's why-
don't.
When they win, you win.
Yeah.
We don't win unless y'all win.
Right.
Like,
So it's very imperative that you win.
So you are just as invested as they are.
exactly.
So everybody.
Who teaches this 15-week class?
Dante and I. We are but we have facilitators that will be teaching.
So it's like 1 hour, 2 hours a
2
week.
hours. 2
2
hours
hours
for twice a week. Yeah,
Mondays and Wednesdays.
for 15 weeks.
Do you have the application with you?
No, I mean,
I mean,
to be honest,
Tennessee.
it's something that, to be honest, y'all who's watching, and you know, you are a small business entrepreneur, this is something that you should highly consider. Because one of the main things that they're talking about, you know, we spoke about it a lot. One of the main things we talked about is, you know, there's information out there that you may not know that they have, and they're willing to give it to you so that you can go ahead and really thrive and be able to give that to somebody else so that family can be built. That's the most important thing of this.
For free 99.
For free.
For free.
To
It was
you.
like, yo, the first 2 years, the Village Function, we made 0 pennies.
Yeah.
And for the first 4 years of the Village Function, we made literally pennies.
Right.
We do this because we care.
how
Because we
long
wanna
has the
see
Village
people
Function
win.
been in existence?
Since 2014, so 6 years. Well, now 7.
So this is you guys full time.
Yep. we
Yeah, that's
do
what
this
they
full
do.
time.
Mhm.
This is it. I got a little part-time, gigs going on, but yeah, this is the main time.
So I mean, you got the Georgia UGA and you got the Morehouse backing. Yeah, it's a great.
It's a beautiful
It's,
thing,
it's,
isn't it?
it's great. You know what I'm saying? The black and the white. You know what I'm saying?
So look, and I do want to be clear, as far as right now, the way the village is set up, it is for Georgia, but you guys are working on expanding
Yes.
outside of the state.
Well,
The goal is to be international.
Yeah.
International. Like,
International.
because
Because I have
my
this pipeline to Africa idea, but it's just
Yes.
we
she has a
pipelines
pipeline to
all the
Africa,
time.
and I have my
Pipelines
cryptocurrency idea.
leveling.
That's what's
So,
up.
but
That's what's up.
can somebody from another state tap into your resources, or it's just available to Georgia?
I mean, right now, because of legal reasons, just Georgia, but we are
That's who our
building
partnerships are, but
towards
we
national.
are actively working on out of town partnerships so that we can reach the masses.
So if somebody has a program similar to you guys and want to understand how they can get resources to fund their program,
You can license our curriculum out to them, and they have access to everything we have access to.
There you go.
So it's almost like you guys can give them the blueprint. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
That's
that's
all
what we're
people
doing.
need.
Yeah.
That's what people need. It's a blueprint, right?
It's. I'm looking for the blueprint too. I'm trying to. Yeah, okay.
DP coming tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
I'm
look,
reading tomorrow.
do you have any
We
more
got.
questions?
Yeah.
Come on, let's get them.
Why do we have a higher litmus test for Obama just because he
Oh,
was
God.
black?
So let me hold on.
We got to answer the question. We got to speak to the people. The people want to know, so we got to answer the question.
We will answer the question, but I just want to say this is not a political show.
Yes.
All right, let's just be clear.
But
We
it's a
talk
black
about-
show, though.
It is a black show.
Yeah,
It's not
so-
a political. DP, whatever.
I mean,
this is not a political show.
I think it's a pretty simple answer. It's like, yo, like, because we want to see, like, the first black president, we want to be able to claim him.
Right.
Like, like, we just,
I feel like people don't see the red tape.
I mean, yeah, people don't see the red tape. Like, yeah, I got a lot of problems with Obama and what's whatever. Like, but
He's
I
also
do
a
think
black
that
man.
people just want to be able to see black people win,
You know,
and
we-
people are
we
so
see what
thirsty
white
for a black
privilege is
people
Donald
win.
Trump. Okay, like let's be real. That's white
Yeah.
privilege. Okay, like I'm tired of people talking about Obama. Like he did. I feel like he did all that he could. It's a lot of red tape. They were fighting him. He's already black. We deal with this in our regular lives, already being black. So let's the fact that people wanted him to do all this stuff is unrealistic. What other president has done that for you? Let's really talk
Trump.
about it.
I think the
Trump
white
did that
president,
shit.
the white
Oh,
president
man.
do it for the white people all the time.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I'm
he
saying?
was able to do that. He was able to also.
I'm
have
talking
a
about all of
coup.
them.
I mean-
I'm talking about all of
Have
them, not just
Have a
him.
coup the other day.
What's the next question?
That was-
So look, let me ask you a
Mhm.
question. How can people find you?
People can find us at Instagram at the Village Microfund.
All right.
People can also find us at
But we need
villagemicrofund.com.
to.
Hold on. Let
Yeah,
me finish
go
the motion.
ahead, yeah.
Go ahead.
And Facebook also at Village Microfund.
And what about individually? Do you
I'm
want
Dante
people to-
Lamonte.
I'm at Harriet No Tubman, but
Harriet No Tubman.
Harriet No Tubman.
You said Dante Lamonte.
That's actually my middle name. My mom named me that. My name is Dante Lamonte Miller.
Oh,
That's what's up. What you was gonna say?
So if I'm a small business in the city of Atlanta right now, let's say I have a car repair, a mechanic shop, I can hit you guys up and you guys can kind of, I need to come take your class before I can apply for funding, or can I apply for funding before I take the class?
Once the platform is up, you can apply for funding as a Black business, period.
So
Like,
we will have to do a little scrub, a little investigative, just
Mm.
to make sure you're legit. But yeah, you can apply it. It's just an easier process if you go through our cohort.
I didn't take I didn't, I had the consultant business, right? For the property condition assessments.
So you took the short route?
No, I want to do the cohort, but it wasn't available. But that doesn't stop me from being able to take advantage of other resources that are there. So to answer your question, no, you don't have to go through the cohort to be able to get the resources available.
So if I'm in right now for the funds, some of the funds that you guys have available programs, if I'm in the city of South Fulton and I've been in business, if I have a current business license, and do I have to have 2 years worth of taxes, or
it's preferred.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is very important. Yes, preferred.
so you got 2 years
preferred.
now?
Because it's a government entity and they just want to make sure that you're not over here skirting themselves, the government.
It's preferred.
Is it a dollar?
But if you have a business license, still apply.
Is
Let us tell you no.
is there a dollar amount that I have to be at on?
No.
No.
It's just you need to have those taxes, please.
Just have your paperwork together. That's all we need.
The admin, man.
You have access to up to 19,000.
So if I'm in the city of South Fulton, got a current business license, I can call my accountant and be like, hey, I need, I'm saying my last 2 years of taxes, profit and loss statements.
Yep.
Even if I was in the red.
Yes.
That's fine. That's
Even if
fine.
you're
We
in
just
the red.
need that paperwork.
DP. Yes. I'm telling you, yes, it's real.
Okay. I mean, I'm just trying to understand because, a lot of people would think that it can't be that easy.
Listen,
It
again,
is.
let
We're
me
giving away money.
Let me circle back and say, look, I live in the city of South Fulton, people. I applied for the joint. I had all my stuff together, and it is legit. I endorse what it is that they're doing. All right?
Village microphone.
It's real.
But it took you this time for them to get on the show.
Hey, we're here. It's not about how we got here.
But y'all here now.
It's that we're here.
And for the record, that was not the case. I've told you about them well before interviews.
Now you know.
Okay.
Now you can't fake ignorant.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's what the court said too. Just because you're ignorant of the law, that don't excuse you from the law.
Let's
again.
Go ahead.
So that's South Fulton.
Yes.
You guys have 0% loans in Atlanta.
Yes.
Atlanta, Metro Atlanta.
What's the qualification for those?
You just have to be a current business. We're gonna do a look at your financials just to make sure you are legit. But it's a character-based loan. So what that does is that's not going off your credit.
Hold on.
No, but I feel you being the cynic and the skeptic.
No, I'm not. I'm kind of amazed.
Yeah.
That's the qualification. It's a character-based loan. I mean, who does that? I mean, unless you go in your mom or your granddaddy or something like that. I don't.
I mean, we realize what the barriers are to Black people getting capital. I mean, that's another. We didn't go into that, but that's another part of the village. Like,
let's go into
trying
that. Let's go into that. Then.
Make capital as accessible as possible, because when we talk about redlining and banks not giving funding to certain businesses, because if you're a single mom or a single dad,
explain what redlining is, because most people don't understand what redlining is.
I mean, redlining is dealing with the area that you live in, right? And so certain areas definitely don't get the funding that others get, and that also goes into your schools and your tax.
It's essentially like this, right? Like in cases of redlining.
Are y'all all right?
Yes, we are.
Y'all play musical chair.
In cases of redlining, banks essentially will literally draw a red line around the neighborhood and say that this place is too risky for us to lend.
Right.
They don't make money in this area, so they don't have a customer base. So we can't see their business making money, so we're not going to give them a loan. The practice became illegal. However, banks can still decide where they're going to open banks in places that are risky or are non-risky. And it's like how they determine risky or non-risky is still up to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that every time they decide a neighborhood risky, it's one of our neighborhoods. So that's the history of redlining, and essentially the fact that, like, yeah, you see all these other businesses in our neighborhood because they can go to a bank and get a loan. But in our neighborhoods, we can't.
Because you know, like she lives in the West End. She said she bought a house in the West End a couple of years ago. West End was redlined at one point.
Yes.
All of Southwest Atlanta was redlined at one point. Because when I was in the housing business before, housing was appreciating like crazy over in the Black neighborhood.
Right.
And then when the economy was about to crash, they dropped the value significantly.
Right.
And it was almost thought of that, hey, they're doing this to make it convenient and easier for the other folks to come in and buy up everything.
Right.
Because now you gotta make a decision. Are you gonna pay this $1,500, $2,000 a month mortgage, or are you gonna default and allow your bank to either negotiate a modification for you,
right?
Or are you know what I'm saying? So I
mean, I don't feel like it was intentional. However, I do feel like people got greedy, and that they collapsed the economy being greedy, and that when white people catch cold, Black people catch flu.
Definitely.
We have access to less resources. We have less of a safety cushion. So when shit hits the fan, we hit the floor hard. They got a little cushion. Everybody else, every other community has a cushion because they have family members that have money. So even if they go broke, you got somebody that can hold you up that has money.
Right.
For us, no, we hit the ground. We break bones.
Yeah.
Even on that point, when we talk about friends and family, like, we would be lucky to get 10K from friends and family. Like white counterparts could easily get 100K from uncle and auntie and whoever has the business.
I'll even go a step further. You know, you got white families, you know, when they're like fathers who are giving their daughters to marriage, they have dowries for them. So, you know, these are things that.
What's the dowry?
A dowry is basically dowry is basically like a gift. It could be monetary. Usually it's monetary, but basically you give that to the wife and it goes towards their marriage. Yeah. But this is something that they actually save over time.
Really?
That they give when they are giving their daughter to the man that's supposed to take care of her. See, and that's the thing. You 40 plus years old and didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Right. So
you know, really rock with white folks like that.
But to her point, these are things that, you know, we just don't know.
Hey, we heard about it. We didn't need it, DP. We didn't need it. We just heard about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I read about it in books because I read a lot of old fantasy books.
Yeah, because this is like back in medieval times type.
I mean, even so, like, I mean, even in the neighborhood that I live in, I've seen white families gift one of these houses that's almost $500,000 to their children who just got married. Like, oh, here's a house.
I've seen a lot of that. Oh, my
like,
son is
it's not the same
buying a house in this neighborhood.
Right.
Like,
but they can afford that, but because of generational wealth, I was like, it makes a difference if your great grandfather or mother passed down the house and passed down 2 houses, and now y'all splitting up 4 $500,000 properties,
right?
Versus trying to split up the $100,000 property that your mother and grandmother
had. All the kids,
You know what I'm saying? That y'all want $4,000.
Not having life insurance, and how that also messes us up as Black people.
Now you got to sell the property to pay for the funeral.
Yeah. So I mean,
there's a lot of things that keep us from the wealth and keep us from creating generational wealth. And a lot of this stuff is systematic.
And I'm just glad and really pleased that, you know, y'all are doing your part to really contribute. I just want to say let's clap it up for them.
Yeah. I mean, because it's really not. I mean, you guys one of the few people I've seen that are Black and as young as you guys are, that's actually doing what you're doing. and giving black folks money. I mean, if you sit back and think about that, that's like how, why? I mean, it's like really,
you want to see.
It's hard to fathom that because it's not usual.
Right.
You usually got to go to the white boy and put an application with him and see, let his people tell, are you gonna get approved or not? Versus you can go to them, you can even take the class
on the free.
For the free and allow them to actually let the application be organic because now they know you got the education now and know how to conduct your business. You know what I'm saying? Because they taught you.
Hey, I know. So look, before we wrap up, man, again, I want to thank you both for coming, taking the time to really chop it up with us. We appreciate it. Tell them again how they can find you.
Again, villagemicrofund.com. Once our website drops, it will be My Village Seed and Village Microfund on Instagram and Facebook.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, because I mean, I'm yeah, we got greatness in the house. I was like,
go ahead.
What's the Greenwood?
Mm-hmm. Greenwood Bank.
You got Money Ave, another black bank that's supposed to be dropping. What do you guys think about these banks and what they're actually going to do for the community versus because banks are we've lost a couple of black banks, but we still have a couple. We deal with Citizens Trust. We deal with Citizens Trust. Yeah. And they black, but I don't know how black they are.
They're not real black.
They're not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They don't want to be a black bank. Let me just say
they want to be a bank.
Yeah. So Capital, what was the one that just got bought out a couple of years ago by a white bank? Capital City. Yeah. And they brought the white folks into their bank to work. And these black folks like, no, we're not coming back in there because they failed. So they were sold to Citizens One or Citizen Trust or something like that. And then they brought all the white folks in there to work in the bank when it was 100% black.
So what's the question, good brother?
I mean, so what do you think? Are these black virtual banks basically are going to help our community, or are they going to hinder?
To be honest, that's to be seen. I'm familiar with the Greenwood Bank. I've actually talked to a few of them. I'm very curious to see how that happens, simply because the top 3 people that are associated with the bank is a rapper, a politician, and a movie showrunner. Like I'm not sure.
We can just say movie executive.
A movie executive.
Just put it there.
So yeah, I mean, like it's not like they have particular knowledge on like
the finance part of it.
Yeah, how to actually run a bank, and like a lot of the harmful practices, like for example, like just all the fees. Like there's a lot of racist history behind fees.
Okay.
I wonder if they're knowledgeable enough in finance to like be able to work out a solution to that.
Why do you think? You say you spoke to them. Why?
I haven't spoke to them.
Okay.
Like I haven't spoke to the owners.
Okay.
I've spoke to people that have been involved with the project.
Because I would be pretty sure that you would give these type of tidbits like, yo, you may want to look into X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. I've just spoke with people involved in the project, and they haven't been able to answer the question for me either.
Why wouldn't they come to you guys and be like, all right, you guys have the pulse of the community? What do you think we should incorporate in our philosophy that will make it
collaboration?
I mean, no, it's just like also like we haven't.
I don't know.
We haven't done the best job in, I guess, promoting.
I was gonna say I don't know about that one, Harry, because let's go behind the veil a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit.
Okay, let's go there.
A little bit, just a tad bit.
We're going. I'm on the train.
So it's not like we're talking about just Greenwood. I can't talk about the other one, but it's not like neither one of you know people that can put you in the room with the people to have that conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we haven't done the best job in promoting ourselves.
I can do that.
But we have been.
I can do that. Hold on. I can do that.
Okay.
I can put y'all in the room.
Well, see, this is the thing because I'm like, as a
no, but they know They know people
Yeah,
too. It's
what I'm
like
saying.
starting that, like,
Let's
you
be
should,
clear.
But you
right?
saying like they can't get in the room. They can get in the room.
You should want to know the players.
Our
Like, you should do
priorities
the
have been
research.
elsewhere. I'll just say that.
You
And
should
it's
do the
like
research.
we're at a point where like our priorities can transition to like more like making ourselves known. But so far our priorities have been on the work.
Okay.
So the question should be to Greenwood.
Yeah.
Why haven't they put themselves in a position to make themselves available to you guys? Because you guys are doing
Ask the question.
the work.
Greenwood.
So Greenwood, I was
There you
saying,
go.
if somebody know Killer Mike and what's the other folks' name? Who's because he's the face of it. Who?
Andrew Young.
Andrea. Oh yeah, the great ex-mayor of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And who's the movie exec? But whoever is involved with the project, you know what I'm saying, get at these folks because they have the pulse of the city. You know what I'm saying? They see the application that come through the financial needs and how someone may think, oh, I'm making $300,000-$400,000 a year. But once you look at the financial statement, damn, I'm only bringing in really 20,000 profit. You know what I'm saying? I'm really just working. You know what I'm saying? I'm a working slave.
I'll say this. I would hope that, they have some type of finance people in place that can tell them the truth like that and really make them aware of those things that you mentioned. Because
my thing is, my thing is like, it's not just enough to have a finance person in the room. Of course, you're gonna have a finance person in the room if you're gonna open a bank. It's not. It's about knowing like how you can manipulate the rules.
Yeah,
and that takes like a specific type of finance person. Like when I was trying to like build out the fund for the village, I was talking to people that work in finance. I was talking to people that raised hundreds of millions of dollars. And when I was asking them questions, they did not give me a satisfying answer. So it's like, it's a matter of like having people that are principals first in finance that I can actually see, this is a problem. These are the conditions. This is the way you can change that. Most people memorize.
Interesting stuff, y'all.
Yeah. And so that's Greenwood. Have you heard of Money Ave? Money Ave is another bank like Greenwood, and they've already started. I don't know if they've started their banking process. That part of it, I don't know if they got approved yet, but they're doing lending.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah,
slightly different.
Yeah. So when they get full-fledged, and they're black owned too. When they get full-fledged, they're not only going to be a deposit account. You're going to be able to go get a mortgage, buy and flip houses, loans, all that type of stuff.
If their vehicles are more, a little bit more mature.
Yeah. So they're they're not based out of Atlanta. I don't think they somewhere, I think DC or something like that. But they still, what neighborhood or what city group are you looking at or collaborating with that actually is dealing with the people that needs? You know what I'm saying? Because you can have all these grandiose ideas, but if you're not giving the folks that actually need the program, you really wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels. And we have another question.
Go ahead.
Can you talk about the systematic racism associated with banking? That should be up your alley. You know what I'm saying?
Take it away.
It's a lot. Where do I start? That's the real question about that, because it's just like systematically in America, we have not been the ones who win. And it's not built for us to win.
Right.
And it's just like, even if we think about the lack of knowledge, right? That's why the village is here, to provide knowledge and provide education. Like that, those resources are not readily available for us. And they're not meant to be readily available for us. So, it goes really deep. I don't even know where to start. Dante, do you want to chime in on the system?
Because you've been to the historically black college, and let's not get it twisted that most historically black colleges are in the hood. I don't care how prestigious they are. Yeah. They're in the hood.
Because the land is cheaper.
Yeah. But the city have never really took the time to develop the neighborhoods around it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not where, at least in Atlanta, even in Orangeburg, we went to school in Orangeburg, and that was still, it wasn't hood, but because we were in the country, it was a little different.
Yeah,
when we talked about systematic, when we were talking about that, I was thinking about housing projects, right? what a lot of people don't know is housing projects originated out of Atlanta with John Hope. And they were never meant to be a long-term solution. They were supposed to be a short-term solution.
They're like by black people
Right.
for black people.
And so a lot of the housing projects, the housing projects were around historically black institutions.
Yeah.
And the thought was like, it gives you a place. I mean, this was during segregation. This gives you a place to stay while you get your feet up to, you know, really be able to get a house or get an apartment or whatever, figure it out.
Education right
It was
there.
a very, and then you're by the education system. What then the government took that and made it something totally different that was not intended to be. It was supposed to be something positive, to be a stepping stone, but then it ends up being
and then
something
just
that
poverty on top
Yes.
of poverty.
of like, oh, now people are depending on welfare. People are depending on the projects. They're depending on these things when that was never what it was intended to be, when it was for us, by us, before the government even had any say so.
Let me ask you a question now, because you guys are highly educated, right? Much more educated than I am. When you said welfare, people look down on black folks because they get food stamps and they may get a check, they may get this, they may get that.
White people get food stamps.
But
Keep going.
white corporations,
Take more money than anybody.
yeah, they get millions of dollars and
Millions.
what they call it, government subsidies.
Subsidies.
Yeah, subsidies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they want to take a girl $300 food stamp card, you know what I'm saying, tell her that, yeah, why you need to go to work. But at the same time, you giving this white corporation $300
The
million.
two richest corporations in the world right now are Amazon and Tesla. And both of them have greatly benefited from government money. It's like Amazon Web Services hosts pretty much everything website on the internet.
Yeah.
So when you talk about like, who has a CIA website? Amazon. Who has the they're one of the largest, if not the largest government contractor.
That's the AWS.
Period.
AWS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
They are, I think, the largest government contractor. Period.
So let me ask you.
And then you got fucking Tesla, which is like, yo, you have an electric car, you have all these solar power batteries, you get this clean energy. You know how many tax breaks you're getting?
Yeah.
You know, he is now the richest man in the world.
That's just a glimpse of the systematic oppression that is happening. Like we don't.
Do we really live in a capitalistic society? Because it's like, yo, like communism is a society in which the government controls who wins and who loses, and where in which the government controls like resources. And it's like, yo, right now the two largest corporations in the world are both receiving resources from the government. It is a substantial part of what they do. Like substantial. It's like, yo, do we really?
I believe it.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's all baked in.
We could talk about systemic racism for days.
I could go on a rant. I'm trying not to. You know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to
Go on
hype
your
it up.
rant. You know what I'm saying?
You got any other questions? Or keep going?
I have questions. I
We can talk off here.
don't get these great minds every day. I got to talk to you most days. There, I got these great minds right now.
Well, my mom must be great too, because I brought them to the table. Is there any other questions?
Great minds
You know
recognize
what I'm saying?
great
My
minds.
man. Are there any other questions?
No, we good.
All right,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna wrap up. We extended a little bit more, but
Yes.
I just want to say thank you again for
Yeah,
joining.
definitely.
Mhm.
Yes, we enjoyed ourselves.
We did.
So let me ask this other question before because we gotta get the knowledge out of these folks while they're here.
You know they can always come back.
Yeah, we always come back. We always come back.
So you said something about if Biden shut down the country again,
Right.
they're gonna be
This is
much
the last
more.
question.
The more.
Last question.
Mhm.
Let's go.
All right, director. We got director. We got director.
Go on.
There will be much more funding
Yes.
available. Explain that, because people don't understand it. Because people think that if the country gets shut down, then therefore money dries up. Nobody's paying you. You can't go to work.
That was last time because there's some assholes. Like it has more to do with the fact that like there was a lot of debate in the Senate about bills getting passed because Mitch McConnell kept blocking everything
Right.
while Trump was president when he didn't completely get everything he wanted in the bill. Whereas with Biden as president, it is going to like because he's going to enforce this shutdown, you're not just going to be able to leave all these small businesses out here hanging.
Right.
So it's just like only natural that if there's a shutdown, and right now the Senate is democratically controlled, then you're going to have to pass money for those businesses to actually shut down safely.
And let's also talk about how COVID-19 was a gift and a curse. It's a curse in the fact that, unfortunately, a lot of Black businesses are not going to rebound from this experience, right? But what the small glimmer of a gift is that it shone a light on what we already knew, right?
Absolutely.
We already knew that Black businesses lacked access to capital. We already knew that there was a gap in a lot of the resources. But COVID-19 kind of showed a bigger spotlight of, oh, wow, now we must give resources. Now we must give money, because now we really see that businesses are hurting. We've been hurting. That's been happening, right? But COVID-19 was just like, okay, now the curtain is up. Like, this is real. Like, this is what businesses have.
Like the storm on Capitol Hill the other day. You know, so we knew that these white boys were. We knew that these white boys were in the fold. Exactly. In the fold of these other white racist parlor and all that. Exactly. And then they getting escorted around taking selfies with the Capitol Police, and they're like, yo, if that was Black Lives Matter, you getting shot before you get on the stage.
It's like, yo, look at the tape. Right. Yeah. Like, look at the tape. The material's right here, dog. Like, just look at it. Like, you don't even have to prove it anymore. You just gotta.
I mean, but you know, when a Black person get killed and they have the tape, it's still, well, we don't. We need to get the whole context of the other
they
situation.
Followed the rules. They should have been, you know.
We have
the difference is like when one of us get killed, it's just our problem.
Right.
Now this is their problem.
You know what? So I believe that, you know, because they're saying they're gonna have this revolution on Inauguration Day. They're gonna be all Capitol gun drones and this, that, and that. Black folks need to let these white folks deal with their problem. Just sit back and let these white folks deal with their own problem. You know what I'm saying? Because
this is the Boston Tea Party all over again.
Yeah, this not our problem. And on top of that, when Biden and Kamala get in office, we need to see how they handle it.
It's Kamala.
Yeah. Kamala.
No.
Kamala. Yo, but I'm saying when she get in office, I want to know what's gonna be her first act. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Because if it's not to help a Black family, you know what I'm saying, because of all this, because the white boy shit that's going on in the Capitol, they're gonna get off.
Right.
Most of them not gonna even do any jail time. They're gonna be just high priced lawyers, and these lawyers gonna be doing it for free. You know what I'm saying?
Being paid by a bigger machine
because I read today that Parliament just got a new website to host their stuff. You know what I'm saying? A right wing website. Yeah, so they good. So you know.
Any parting shots?
You want me talking more about that, Dev? Dev, you want me to?
What do we have coming up?
Ascend Atlanta cohort. We are a part of that. Please apply. Yeah. You can visit at Village Microphone on
what's the deadline for the application?
The deadline, I believe, don't quote me.
And when is the class?
And the class starts at the beginning of March.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Anything else? Let's see what else we have coming up. We have the Kiva.
Just subscribe.
Kiva one's coming up. Yes. If you follow us on Instagram, we'll update you as it comes.
Yes.
We do have the Kiva 0% loans coming up.
The platform dropping. So you can be a village business or not village business.
That's timed around March.
From that, and we didn't even mention that it also adds a gift card function, so you can keep your favorite businesses cash liquid by buying gift cards, like your barber.
I saw that on the website,
so, especially like when it gets shut down again.
Is that available now, or is that coming up with your platform?
The website's still being built out, but once it is, it's like
when is the launch date for the website?
We're planning March. Had some hiccups with our developers.
You've had a lot of hiccups.
Yeah, y'all got a whole Morehouse over there. Let them do it for free. I mean, just let them do it for free.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yo.
And you got UGA. Let them white boys.
I'm use my UGA resources. Hey, I give credit to my alma mater for preparing me for who I am today and making me who I am today.
Dope.
And the experiences that I had and realizing what whiteness was, it really educated me in a college
I like the way she said that whiteness was.
Yes, and how they have privilege. But and also getting that job a year ahead of time. But I appreciate EGA for all these experiences.
It is what it is.
Two of the smartest people in the room. I appreciate y'all again for coming.
Yeah.
This is Real Talk with DP and Dev, and I always say this before we go. And all that you do it with positivity, creativity, authenticity. Peace, beautiful people. We out.
Yes, we out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.